Bronson, senior editor at Bike Magazine. We're at the Kingdom Trails in East Burke, Vermont. Today we're checking out Santa Cruz's latest version of the Bronson. This is a second generation Bronson, and the Bronson isn't really that old of a bike. It's not long in the tooth, but they came out with a slightly slacker Bronson. It's got a little longer top tube, a little shorter in the rear. You know, kind of all the changes that people are making to more aggressive all mountain and trail bikes these days. This is kind of a fairly pimped out version. It's got an X01 drivetrain on it. It sells for $6,600. If you only want the frame, you can build it up that way. That's $3,000 for a carbon frame. The question is, how did it ride?
I'm gonna put this out here first. I've never liked Santa Cruz bikes.
Damn, that's a heavy statement. You're just gonna dump it out like that.
Yeah, well, they've never fit me, and I've never liked all the pedal feedback from the VPP. Those two things. And I haven't been able to fit on a large ever, and the wheelbase on the extra large has been too long for my liking, so I've never really settled into one. But the new Nomad that came out last year was the first Santa Cruz that I was like, oh yeah, this is a fun bike to ride. I like this bike. And the new Bronson kind of follows that trend, right? I was very much pleased by the ride on the bike today.
You never liked them. You know, and I thought that I had sort of let go of some of my loyalties. I did used to work for them.
I've never liked you.
Panel feedback.
I've never liked you much either, Mike.
Panel feedback.
Well, you know, it brings up your fight notwithstanding, it brings up an important point, which is they didn't just change the geometry, they also changed the kinematics.
They
of
did,
the bike,
yeah.
Right, and their goal was to make it a little bit more simple under pedaling. I mean, because the point of VPP, and Mike, you can go ahead and jump in on this and make it better than what I'm going to say, is that
I don't work there anymore.
put the pedals under power, adds a little bit, it combats squat. Essentially, you're creating a little bit of chain. The chain tension is working to extend the shock to some degree, counterbalancing or counteracting the squat that you get in the monkey motion. Now, that said, I think a lot of us have complained about Santa Cruz bikes in the past that under pedaling power, they tend to skip a little bit. The traction hasn't been as good as some of the competitors.
You're just not pedaling hard enough.
I'm just not pedaling. Screw you. Screw you. That said, I thought that to me was probably the biggest change. I mean, I appreciated the top tube was longer on this bike, but what I really liked about it is that it did feel more supple off the top than past Santa Cruz bikes. You know, I talked to one of the guys at Santa Cruz, and he said, because I was kind of asking, well, where does this bike fit within your lineup? You have a lot of popular bikes, right? 5010, the Nomad. He said, this is our most versatile bike. You guys agree with that?
Well, all right, I love the way the bike rode. I had a blast on it. I feel almost, I love the way it climbed wide open without putting, wide open all the way soft.
Yeah, I think.
And 30-some% sag. I thought it climbed amazingly. But then when you did start putting a little bit of firmness into the low speed, dialing a little bit of low speed compression into the fork, straight lining, taking idiot lines into holes and doing dumb things, it's remarkably composed for a bike that otherwise, so it weighed the same as the Da Vinci that we were testing. It feels gossamer light compared to some of the other bikes with that much travel, that sort of intent. If you look at
it seems to sit up pretty well.
Like we've got some beasts here of all mountain bikes. Like we have some just total bruisers that basically are downhill bikes with single crown forks, and not a lot more rear travel. We're talking, we have all these bikes are in the 150 to 160 millimeter range. Sure. But this thing felt, at times, in terms of your ability to pick it up and move it around, it felt cross-country light. Yeah. Trail bike light. It did not feel all mountainy until you started doing dumb shit, and then it would do it.
I did the step down on Black Forest that I even I strategized with our local guide here, Alex, about for a while, and he kind of warned me off about it a little bit. So a bike that I initially got on and felt like this is a long-legged marathon bike to go do probably a good 17 18 foot gap with a pretty decent drop like Jediing through trees. Yeah, it's a versatile bike.
One thing that Santa Cruz has always done remarkably well with their carbon bikes is to make a really stiff chassis. The chassis doesn't feel noodly. They went to Boost 148 on this. Did you guys feel the bike? Did it feel confident to you when you guys were getting into ugly situations?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have a sling on my arm if tonight if it didn't. Yeah, absolutely. You put it into crazy situations, and if you wanted to get out of it, and the traction was there, and the stars aligned, yeah, it would go where you pointed it for sure.
We haven't really said a whole lot of negative stuff about the bike.
Got something? What do you got?
It's a little expensive. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's a little expensive. I don't really have. I mean, it's right.
Well, okay, you know, like some people will go $6,600, but again, Santa Cruz offers a whole range of build kits. So, you know, we have one of the upper end build kits. But again, you know, you can get that carbon C-frame version of this. It has, you know, the Santa Cruz says has the same strength and, you know, stiffness to it, just a half pound more. Complete bike for $3,600. I mean, granted, you're getting lower spec parts, obviously, like RockShox Sector 4, but still, it's a lot of bike for the buck. Well, there you have it. New bike for Santa Cruz, new version of the Bronson. If you want to see more about this bike, check out our Bible bike test issue. If you want to see more bike test videos, go to bikemag.com.